All right. So we're back. So who are some of the people in that video? Mark. Mark Zuckerberg, who started in his dorm room because he wanted to. Yeah, it was Meet Girls. Okay, we all know that story. If you don't know that story, watch Social Network. Okay, whether that's true or not. Okay, some of it's not true. Who are some of the other people? Bill Gates, who built Microsoft, dropped out of Harvard to build Microsoft. And who's the NBA guy? Chris. And then Will I Am, right? And then the Dropbox guy. I mean, there's all kinds of people in here, right? So the idea, what are some of the things you walked away with besides the cool people that are in there? Whether you think they're cool, yeah. You want to work for Google? Yeah, so these companies are cool to work for. Hold on, guys. Because why? Because they treat you well. Free food, right? Oh, absolutely, right? So cool environments to be in. Yeah. Yeah, Google's amazing. I'm lucky to say I've been on their campus many times, and every time I find something new to see that's just awesome. Oh yeah, they have those pods. How many saw The Intern? Those are real. Those pods where they actually go on, and they actually kind of have quiet time to think and to do stuff. Yeah, those are real. Those are true. Yeah, those weren't just part of the movie, Vince Vaughn, Anyway, it's kind of a fun movie. All right, so here's what I want to tell you, right? So learning this stuff is really beneficial, and I've been trying to encourage you, and it sounds like you don't need a lot because it sounds like you're getting stuff out of it, right? But I want to just contextualize a little bit that there's a similarity between Code Academy and my IT lab. They're both simulated, okay? When you're doing Code Academy, if you were really doing coding, there's nothing there telling you you're writing wrong code. Okay, so you're actually writing code in an editor, and I think hopefully at some point during the semester, come back to me, you'll actually get some of this experience, but we'll see, okay? So here's a term I want you to have in your notes, because these software and these websites are what we call opinionated simulated websites, simulation websites. So here's what I mean by opinionated. How many of you, when you were doing, and probably not, I think a few of you may have had some HTML when you were in high school, right? But most of you had not done any coding. But how many of you, when you were doing the My IT lab, when it asked you to do something, you're like, I totally know how to do that, okay? But then when you tried to do it, you couldn't do it the way you're used to? Because why? Because they want you to do it their way. That's what opinionated means in this context. Opinionated, simulated websites. Both of them fall into this category because trust me, when you get out there and start coding, it is not like what you're experiencing, at least in the Code Academy stuff. But the reason I like Code Academy is it gives you those fundamentals, just like the My IT lab gives you some of those fundamental skills. And just like we're doing the lab test, right? You could take what you're doing in the Code Academy and actually go out and put that stuff in an editor and actually show it on a web page. Okay, it wouldn't be that hard to do. But do you get the idea here of what I mean by opinionated? And some of you have been so frustrated by it, right? Because it's like, no, I don't know how to do that, right? Okay, so so we watched the video. We already did that, right? So here's our last topic of the day, and I really want to talk more about Google Drive today, because I kind of did a little survey what you wanted to see. And I want to explain something that really is fundamental, and I want to teach you something new that I'm suspecting most of you have never done with Google Drive. First, I want to talk about this. What we have learned so far, let's just kind of go over it. We've learned how to create documents. We've learned how to share them, right? We've learned how to, what else? Link them, right? Provide links to go into them. Some of you may have already, and I suspect you did, not some of you learned how to upload, right? Upload stuff into them. Those are actually pretty fundamental skills when it comes to Google Drive, okay? But I want to explain this, is that what you've been doing so far is sharing files. So when you set the permissions, when you share with me, right, you're setting it at a file level. There's actually another way to do it. And what you can do is instead of sharing the file, you can just share the folder. And when you share the folder, anything you put in that folder inherits that permission. Let me stop for a second. Are you getting this? Yes. So which is more efficient to do? The folder, right? You only have to share it once, exactly, and then anything you put in there, right? So it's the same kind of concept, but it is different than what we're doing on the classwork, because you could just say the directory has a certain permission. So I want to show you that I've done this on my drive. Matter of fact, the print screens that you're looking at, if you are taking advantage of my print screens for the Code Academy stuff, right? Do you think I uploaded and changed the permission on every file? Heck no, right? What I do here is I just go into the file, and then I just hit share, and then I just make it shareable so everyone can see it, and then whatever I put in that directory is then shareable for everyone to see it. So you could theoretically, now I'm not going to require this, although I debated whether I should, is make you change the structure right now to have a folder that you share with just me and a folder that you share with everyone, and then everything you put in there follows that permission. Make sense? So this is very different than it is on the local computer. On a local computer, when you move things around, or when you, it follows some of the permissions, but Google Drive's much more flexible. And by the way, is there a competitor to Google Drive? OneDrive, absolutely. That is a competitor to it's Microsoft's version of the cloud. What's another one? Evernote, kind of. I'm thinking of another one. It was actually one of the people in the video. Dropbox. Dropbox is very popular too, right? So part of it is too, is like, what are you used to using? So I suspect after this class, you're going to be used to at least using Google Drive for a little bit, right? All right, so today you all did something before we got started, right? You filled out the survey. Yeah. I'm going to teach you how to do this. Google Forms. Have you used, Jake, you've obviously used it. Yeah, they're nice. They're awesome because Google Excel is awesome. This is so cool because you will have a need, I guarantee you, at some point in your life to survey people, to ask them for information, okay? Google provides this just built into Drive. So when you all filled out this form today, which I'm about to show you how to do, okay? Because by the way, let's just kind of slow down here. So let me just go into the presentation so you can see what I have on tap for us today. Oh, and did I talk about voice typing in here? No. Okay, I'm going to do that first. So Google, I'll get to forms in a minute. Sorry about this. Now, from now on, if you want to do this, when you're taking notes, you can use something called voice typing. Awesome. I'm actually going to do it. And check this out. This actually is going to use a microphone located on this computer, okay, like right here on the monitor. So it's not the best one to do, but it actually works pretty good. So let's see how it does. I'm going to allow. 7 years ago, our fathers embarked upon, I don't know the rest of it. Our forefather, there you go. But it can also get you in trouble a little bit, so I'll just back that off. Right. But how cool is that, right? I mean, that functionality is awesome, right? So again, this is a new thing. If you've never tried it, please try it because it is really helpful. So in your notes, put, right, voice typing. Right? So what I want to show you here is how to do Google Forms, okay? Because I'm telling you, this is such a useful skill to know how to do. So I had you all, so the step one was you all filled, and the online students, you will have a link to the form, okay, that I'm going to show you. So I'm going to have you create a form that's going to have 4 fields in it, at least. You can do more if you want, at least 4 fields in it, and I'll show you how to do these fields. And then I want you to get at least 5 people to fill it out. By the way, you can ask the folks on chat. If you're not on chat, I still highly recommend getting on chat. We have 48 people, and it's very helpful for those of you that have went on it. Because like if you get stuck on something on Code Academy, I mean, there's been nights I'm not up, everybody else is up working on stuff. You get help, okay? So 4 fields, share it with 5 people. And this week, you'll post the URL into Classwork, okay? So you're going to fill out the form. You've already done it. The online students will fill it. We're actually going to talk about the results in a minute of the form you filled out for me. And this will show you how to do the last step. But we will do the last step next week. And next week in week 7, you're actually going to share your results with me in your form. Make sense? So let me show you how to do it. Or actually, let me show you the results. Like, here's the form that you all filled out. And what I can do is view results, okay? So I'm sorry, I'm going to view, actually, where's it at? No, actually responses. There we go, summary responses. Check this out. So from the document, or the form that you all filled out, I can tell instantly some really great information. What PC OS? 62% of you are using Windows. 25% are using Macs. And if you're using Windows, most of you, I know this is a surprise to me still, are using Windows 10. Right? Do you see? But do you see I mean, this is like, all you did was put up a form and you asked people to fill it out. This is great information. So what we say is the responses themselves are called data. This is information. So in your notes, data versus information. So you're getting great information here. Do you have a smartphone? 92% of you. And by the way, this right now is from the other face-to-face class and you all. By next week, we will see the online students so we can see how it changes, right? 92% of you have a smartphone. Of the 92%, 63% of you have Android. 31% of you have iOS, iPhones, and 1% have Windows, and somebody has something else. Probably that blue or whatever it was we found earlier. Check this out. This actually, and I asked how many of you were passing. I didn't ask your names, notice, right? I didn't want names. I did ask how many semesters you were here, though. And we could actually correlate possibly how many semesters you are if you're passing. But this shows that 82% of you are now passing. And what's sad is the 10% that don't even know. Those people worry me a little bit, right? Because how could you not know? Okay, sorry, I won't go off on a tangent. But do you get my point? Do you see how beneficial this is? Okay, let me show you how to do it. It's very, very, very easy. All you have to do is in Drive, you do New, and if you don't see it here, you go More, and then you go Google Forms. And under Google Forms, again, how many fields do you need? 4. So, and you can title it, right? You can give a description. You tell it first question. Let's say you do your name, right? So you could put, help, if somebody needs help, please give me your name, whatever, right? Is it a multiple choice question? Probably not, right? It's probably just text question. Is it required? Definitely for me, I would say that's required. Because some of the fields, if you notice on my form, they had a little asterisk beside them. That means they were possibly required, okay? So then I could do some advanced stuff if I wanted. I could do validation, right? There's all kinds of stuff. You don't have to do any of that. That's your first one, right? So then you add another item. So like, what's another question just throw out another question you might want to ask. Yeah, that'd be a good one, right? So that wouldn't be a multiple. It could be a range, right? Are you between these ages? You could do a multiple choice there, right? You could do age, and then you could say, please tell me. I won't judge. Okay, no, whatever, right? So you could have it go to another page. You don't have to do that. You could do multiple. You could do check boxes, pick from a list, right? You could do between, right? Between 2 and 15, 16, whatever, right? And then they could just check them off, make it required. Does that make sense? That's all you got to do. How many fields do you have to have? 4. Make at least a couple of them required. Otherwise, people will just flip through it. Okay. The other thing is you can allow them to change it if you want. You can publish, publish and show the results if you want. You don't have to do that, right? So once you do it, then all you have to do, and you should be familiar with this, is share the URL. But guess what? Do you think you have to set permissions on the form? No, because Google knows if you're creating a form, you're sharing it publicly. So they just automatically set shareable to everyone. Okay, you with me? All right, so in your notes, just list the review. Step 1, you fill out my form. You've already done that. Step 2, create your own with 4 fields. Share with at least 5 people. Yes, you can use chat. Step 4, post the URL. right? And next week, I will have you post the print screen of your results. And I will tell you, as I said before, this is really, really powerful and very easy to do. And you will need it some point in your life. Okay? All right, questions about this? Yeah. No, it could be anywhere. Could be, and you could ask them anything you think they'd answer, something you might want to know, right? I would do something I want to know from my friends, right? You could put it up on social media if you wanted. I don't really care how you get the 5, but if you can't get 5, put it on the chat so you have it. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, right? You really can. And again, you will use this. Jake, what do you use it for?
My buddy, he live streams a game on Twitch, and I play with him. And there's like this competitive part to it, and people need help getting through it. So we do the people that watch the stream because there's like 60 to 100 sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just having the chat, just yelling, hey, pick me.
Right.
I made a Google form for him, and it creates a list with time and date for the answer.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great use of it. If the online students didn't hear, for some reason it dropped the screen, but is that you can use it to ask people, right? And actually I've been thinking about using a form to have people ask for late grades, right? As a way to just some more so I can keep track of it. So I'm not, it's awesome, the functionality. I want to leave you with this concept today. Did we lose the screen? Yeah, we lost the screen. I'm not sure why. So I want to leave you with this. Everything we've done today, the computer had to do what to? In order for the computer to do what it did, what has to happen? You should know this from last week and from the last 2 weeks. Everything has to be binary. Coded, well, it has to be, the computer, for it to understand anything, has to come down to zeros and ones. And then it translates that into what you're looking at. So for you all, you're looking at this screen, it's not binary. You're looking at an analog. The online students, that's all binary. When they're watching this stuff, that's all binary that is then encoded and presented back to them in a way. I mean, if that doesn't blow your mind that everything that you touch on the computer comes down to binary, I don't know if I can help you, kind of like expand your mind on these concepts. Yeah. This is a graphical user interface, absolutely, and the command line is there, but even all of that stuff has to come down to a 0 and 1 because, and some people ask this question in their questions, they're like, why do you have zeros and 1s? And he actually answered that. Because a computer runs on electricity, and electricity has how many states? 2. That's why on and off, that's why you need binary. Oh, you learned that right. That's right. As a matter of fact, on a computer, right? Okay, we will, I promise, end with this. But on images.google.com, how many have ever seen, huh? Oh, that's right. That's right. But power buttons, power button, on and off. That's what that means. Oh, right? That's what that means. Yeah, boom, 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 right? So I want you to start getting this, that everything on the computer has to come down to this. I'll talk a little more about this possibly next week and answer any other questions that got left. All right, let's show them. Say goodbye, everyone. Adios. Adios. Peace out. Drop the recording.